Good evening. Hello. How you guys doing? Bit of an impromptu stream tonight, and may just need a minute or two here to set some things up. Now I normally never paint without like a magnifying glass or a spotlight, so I have a big light here behind me. I guess you can maybe see it, but I don't think it's quite the same, so I'm not going to do anything too detailed. Hopefully the lighting is okay here. Maybe I should move my portrait to the top right. There. Atomic Cat, trying to build a Blood Angels army. I've got Mephisto and Death Company and start collecting. Any idea where to go next? Yeah, I mean, Sanguinary Guard. Good evening, Trooper. Good evening, Bloody Narcissist. Good evening, AR. I'm trying to think, I did that video not too long ago, right, with the key units to get you started on Blood Angels, and Sanguinary Guard were definitely one of them. Let me grab some kits as well. I think the units I said to start with were the Death Company, which you said you have. If they're not Jump Pack Death Company, you probably want to get Jump Pack Death Company. I said Librarian Dreadnought. I guess like a Chapter Master on a bike would be a great shout right now, what with how powerful those are. And yeah, I think you need 2 boxes of Sanguinary Guard. I mean, like, this is what I was doing last time I was on stream. Evening, Krychek, how you doing? Evening, DK King. Nice to see you, man. Yeah, last time I was on stream, like, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago now. I was basically saying, like, I already have, like, 15 Sanguinary Guard, and guess what I'm doing here? I'm just doing more Sanguinary Guard. So, I mean, it's hard to... If you're doing this many of the same model, I think it proves... it's a model that you need to have, or you should have. And then also, yeah, I mean, the other thing that this week's tactics video is going to talk a lot about troops. I actually just finished filming that up earlier tonight. So this week's tactics video is going to talk about troops, and I guess if we want to talk about troops, then you want to get some Phobos troops, and I guess the way to get started with the Phobos troops is to get a box of Incursors or Infiltrators. I believe they share the same box, and yeah, I mean, like, they are the best troop choice in 9th edition. If you don't believe me right now, you'll believe me once you see the tactics video coming out on Friday. So that's this week's tactics video is just going to focus on troops. Troops come up every week in the live show, so I thought just once and for all I would do troops. I really wanted to do a video on the company champion, but I decided to do troops instead this week. Just because they get troops seems to be always that. People always ask, what's the best? Troops. I'm painting some Assault Intercessors and a Captain. Sorry, not a Bike Captain. A bike is on its way, though. I'm glad to hear that. I've run that Bike Captain 2 times. I actually had a dream last night that I was playing 40k. I can't believe it. I mean, I guess just because we're in lockdown, we're missing our hobby. But yeah, I mean, the Bike Captain, someone turned me on to the company champion. Is like, I don't know if you guys saw the game against Iron Hands, but the company champion was like the MVP in that first game, like a 70-point model that did so much work, right? And like, the thing I wanted to say about the company champion was, I didn't realise this, but there is a way you can give him basically a Storm Shield and a 4+ invulnerable save and a 5+ Feel No Pain. So he could be crazy tanky as well for a 70-point model. So I was going to do a video on that. I'll do a video on that maybe next week. And yeah, I also ordered the Cerberus this week. I think I've been talking about the Cerberus for a while, which is another super heavy tank. This one comes in at like 420 points. It has basically a twin-linked volcano cannon with 4 shots, and if it doesn't move again, it's a flat 6 damage. And I just like those weapons with the flat 6 damage. Like they're just so strong. I mean, in last night's battle report against the Sister of Battle, I believe that just killed Celestine twice because Celestine came back on a 2+ roll. So yeah, I have ordered another super heavy tank now. So but it's 160 points less than the Falchion. So I think probably what I'll do, because it's 160 points less, is maybe take a company champion, maybe drop the Tech Marine and take like a chaplain on a bike. Because obviously, like, I love that chaplain on a bike. Again, he's a super tanky, survivable character that can do a lot of damage. And then I was also thinking maybe we could fit in like either some Blade Guard or some Eradicators. Obviously, they'd have to foot slog it because we don't have enough points for them Pulsar. But I kind of like the Blade Guard. I only played them that one time against Iron Hands, but the 3 wounds... I mean, Vanguard veterans are generally quite good and survivable. And I guess the Blade Guard next to the Apothecary, I was running the 5-man squad. It seemed pretty great. BA Combat Patrol Box. I mean, the Combat Patrol Box is fine, AR. I mean, it does have 1 squad of Phobos units in it, so that's useful. And it has an Impulsor, and an Impulsor is obviously very useful as well. So, I mean, you could get the Blood Angels Combat Patrol Box. I just don't know if a regular squad of Intercessors, like my video on Friday, is going to literally recommend that you do not run them because they're not that good. And I can't remember. Aggressors. I mean, Aggressors are fine, I think, but they were a lot better. So I just haven't played them since they got nerfed. So there's that. Master Krychek. You want minimum 3 boxes of Sangre Guard, 10 for the unit and 5 for the characters. I mean, yeah, I think you could start with 2 boxes of Sangre Guard, but I mean, I think, like, I want to say that I have like 12 fully painted, and I've got another 7 here. There's like 3 off camera that are just like got some base colors on them. So, yeah, I mean, I guess after I've done these, I'll have 20 Sangre Guard. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're serious about Blood Angels, you have to run a lot of Sangre Guard. I am actually finding this really difficult to paint. Like, you won't be able to see it behind me, maybe you will. No, you can't see it. But normally I have a magnifying glass with a light built into it because my eyesight is pretty terrible. So I also find, like, I don't think that's enough light for painting. Like, the light in this room is actually crap though, because it blew a couple of times during lockdown, and I've been struggling to find the right bulb to replace it. Evening, Highland. How you doing? I forgot you were streaming tonight. I'll dip in and out. I'm just chatting tonight, basically. Nothing serious. Just putting some base colours onto these guys. Because I was thinking, like, I have 10 infiltrators that are just finished being painted. Maybe they'll be finished, I think, tomorrow. Tomorrow I may finish them in the I usually paint in the mornings from like 7 a.m. till like 10 a.m. on days off. So I'll finish painting them in the morning. And then maybe on Friday I'll do transfers on them. And then I'm probably going to paint a 10-man squad of Vanguard veterans, because they'll be the more difficult task, or the more time-consuming task that I have in the backlog. And I think that, like, the great thing about Sangre Guard, I guess, is if you paint the wings, because they're, like, in the battle report videos that I'm doing for the channel, then if the wings are painted, you can kind of straight away pick out that they're Sangre Guard. So I'm just going to put some base colours on these and paint 10 Vanguard veterans next, I think. 10 guys usually takes me like a month. I'm pretty much a perfectionist. Like, I always do 2 coats of basically every colour, and I always do like base So if I was going to paint silver, I always put down like a light grey first and stuff. I don't know, it's just the way I've always done it. I guess it's slow, but I like the final effect of it. D-King says, by the way, flying only applies for fallback, advance, and normal moves in the charge phase. In the charge phase, you only get to go over models. No. I replied to your comment, D-King. Did you not see it? It's in the rulebook. I mean, I've got the rulebook right here, right? Page 262. I do reply to all you guys' comments, and I do try and make sure that I'm getting the rules right in every case. And it's here. Difficult ground. Subtract 2 when making a normal move, advance, fallback, or charge move over terrain features, unless moving units can fly. That says to me that flying units do not subtract 2 inches when charging over difficult ground. It even says here, this penalty does not apply if every model in the moving unit can fly. It is weird in that I was looking... The thing about these rulebooks, right, I mean, Warhammer is a complex game and there's a lot of rules, right? I guess we can all agree on that. But what's annoying is they don't necessarily always put all the rules for certain things together. Like, you would expect that to be... those rules to be there within the charge bit of the rulebook. So you're like looking through the rulebook, looking at the charge stuff going, no, it's not there. And then 100 pages away on somewhere else, it's like, oh, but flying units are exempt. So I think, D-King, unless I'm taking that wrong, I think you're fine flying. You don't have to take -2 for a difficult round. I'm currently building and painting my Blood Angels army and currently looking at heavy support options. Ranged heavies, what is the best option? Chris, if you want to see what the best option is, or if you want to see all the maths hammer, go onto my channel and look at last week's tactics video where I think it was called something like, are Eradicators the best fire support? And the answer is, point for point, I mean, I'll just save you watching the whole video, but if you watch the whole video, you'll see all the other units stack up against Eradicators. And point for point, in terms of damage output, Eradicators are our best option. I mean, they're not going to be the most survivable option because they're just like a Marine with toughness 5 and a 3+ save. If you want the most survivable, you want like a Leviathan Dreadnought. Redemptor Dreadnoughts obviously survive very well as well because of the Duty Eternal, but the Leviathan, even with its lowered point cost and changes, like it got 1 toughness taken off of it in 9th edition, even with all that, the Leviathan is still the most tanky. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to do damage from range support, I believe you just want Eradicators. They're actually stronger than the super heavy tank that I field, but I mean, the super heavy tank has 26 wounds and it has toughness 8 and it has a 2+ save. So I mean, I guess you have to decide. But like, and I guess the way I run that super heavy tank is I run it with a Tech Marine to get +1 to its ballistic skill. So probably once you add that +1 in, and the fact that you get some guns, one of the main cannon does a flat 6 damage, they're probably close, but if you watch that Eradicator video, it will break everything down exactly point for point. And there's quite a lot of maths in that video, but yeah, I mean, I kind of recommend you watch it, and then you'll be able to pick up, because I think I compared Hellblasters and maybe like a Land Raider, or I definitely compared a bunch of different stuff. I mean, that's the point of the Friday tactics videos, so we could pick the best units or the strongest units for the army list. I was playing Crusade. There's a relic that gives a 4+ and a 4++. Oh geez, a 4+ and feel no pain. That sounds pretty crazy. Adam says, hi all. Got some time to continue painting the Redemptor while listening along. Hey Adam, how you doing? I heard that smoking weed helps with focus. I don't think smoking weed helps with focus. I mean, I think smoking weed makes you hungry. Oh, do you know what maybe helps with focus is some music, though. We could put on a little bit of music. Let me see. I did download some. Where did I put it again? We'll try this. I haven't tried this music yet. I did buy a bunch of music to play on the channel. I'll turn the volume down a bit as well once it starts. Alright, someone in chat tell me the volume of the music too loud, too quiet, whatever. Did you watch Blood Angels Vanguard Tactics versus the Custode stream? Dante MVP and multiple clutch angel sacrifice uses, obviously meta dependent but great use. Was that the video that was on at the same time as mine last night, Highland? Because the one thing that I want to say about Vanguard Tactics videos for Blood Angels, and maybe this is a bit harsh, right? But like the 2 times I've watched him, every objective has cover on it, like obscuring cover, so like you can hide all your units, like you know, like I just don't think that's feasible. Like I don't know how you guys deal with terrain, but like in my meta, usually how we deal with terrain is we would take 2 pieces at a time. And like we try and make fairly symmetrical boards, which is fair enough. And we would almost place them time. So I would place 2 pieces of terrain, then you would place 2 pieces of terrain, with a reasonable amount of effort to make the board symmetrical, right? If I just went and placed terrain on every objective, so every objective was in cover, I think my friends would call me out. They would be like, "Yeah, John, you have a close combat army, so you're just making the terrain really favour your army." Like, I don't know, I just don't think they would be happy with it. Like, and also, I mean, if you go to a tournament, that's not how the terrain's going to be set up. Like, I've been at some tournaments where terrain's super light, every objective is exposed. So, the 2 times I've watched Vanguard Tactics play Blood Angels, I mean, the guy's done great, but, like, the terrain has been so friendly to him. I have a game against Death Guard that, you know, like the game is finished. The game was a couple of weeks ago, and it was all filmed. And I can show you quickly a picture from that game. Where was it? I was literally looking at them like earlier today, but now I can't remember where I put them. Damn it. How have I lost that? I have lost my photos of the train, apparently. Like, I have a folder on my desktop called Games Workshop, and I feel like all my photos were in there. Oh, here we go, right? Yeah, I've got it. Hold on then. Let me show you this picture for... So look at this picture for, like... Okay, so in this board, there's one tiny position here. So I could have had a unit, and I mean, this was my deployment zone, so I could have had one unit hiding in here holding this objective, but this objective is completely exposed, this objective is completely exposed, this objective is completely exposed. So, like, you know, like, in the video for Vanguard Tactics, like, you just have one of these basically right over the top of the objective. Which, like, yeah, I mean, that makes the game so much easier as a Blood Angel player, right? If you can just hop from objective. And I guess maybe that's why he puts so much emphasis on, like, that Wrath of Baal on the Sanguinary Priest, right? So he can, like, move 2 more inches. I may have just knocked the stream out for a second, I'm not sure, hold on. No, okay, we're good. So, I mean, I'll probably get round to watching it, Highland, because I do like his content, and I guess like he does provide like really good analysis of the game and values, but I don't know, I just think that like in my meta, my friends would never let me set the terrain up like that. They would just be like, they would just call me out. They'd be like, John, you're not cheating, but like you're just giving yourself like such a huge advantage in the battlefield. Like I don't know. Does that seem fair to say? Adam says they saw it as well, and I think they got the rules wrong with Intercessors, as each unit appeared to be claiming 2 objectives, but the core rules say you can only claim 1 at a time. Yeah, I don't think units can claim 2 objectives. I would have to double check that. I've never actually tried really. Most of the time the objectives are too far apart. Christy says, I've watched a lot of your videos, very helpful. I would check Eradicators. I was also trying to weigh up the financial cost of a Leviathan over 2 Gladiators. I would buy the Leviathan over the Gladiator for sure. The Gladiator didn't perform very well when I math hammered it. I mean, it was compared against the Leviathan in a video about it, maybe from about a month ago. I think the video was called like "No Bullshit, Should I Buy a Gladiator?" So I mean, you could check that out if you wanted. But yeah, I wasn't impressed when I looked up at the Gladiator. D-King says, sorry about that. When you look at the fly section, it says nothing about charges. Yeah, it's so stupid, D-King, that it's so hard sometimes to follow the rules when they put the rules 100 pages apart, so don't even worry about it. Krychek says it was a well-timed power. Oh yeah, I mean, I have been getting a lot of lists submitted, right, where people are taking a Librarian with Null Zone. And I guess, like, if we talk about how the Leviathan Dreadnought is like the strongest thing that you can feel right now in terms of survivability, I guess Null Zone can really help you like deal with that, right? Derek says, hey everybody, and Tony says Super Heavy gets points for cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Super Heavies are pretty fun, and they do get points for cool. AR says, I played Deathwatch and thank God for the kill team options. Do you know what? Deathwatch got their new codex, didn't they? They were one of the first. I haven't actually really looked at that codex yet. I don't really have anyone in my meta that plays Deathwatch. The Marine players that we have are Iron Hands and Ultramarines mainly is the 2 that I end up playing against. And at the moment, I think I tend to find both of them pretty challenging. Ultramarines fall back and shoot, like their native ability is just so strong. It means if you don't get them wrapped in combat, then you can have big problems. Derek says, just got back from the store, got myself a Furioso Dreadnought. Can't believe that shit actually came with a Blood Angels transfer sheet. Yeah, I recently bought the Blood Angels Dreadnought and I was very happy and also surprised that there was a Blood Angels transfer sheet inside, because those things are like super rare, right? Like, at the very start of 8th edition, they did like boxes where it was like Blood Angels Hellblasters and Blood Angels Aggressors and stuff, and I managed to pick up a few boxes of those, and those had transfer sheets in it. But I guess they stopped that pretty quickly. I don't really know why. I mean, it was just like the Aggressor blocks plus a Blood Angels upgrade splue plus a Blood Angels transfer sheet. And it was pretty nice to get those, so... Highland Phoenix says, I believe the rule says models, not unit regarding objective securing. Perhaps a single unit can do more in one turn. I'm not sure, I would need to check that. Ian K says, stick with the whiskey focus. I wish I could stick with whiskey focus. I mean, I don't drink that often, so it was just a couple of whiskeys at Christmas time. It's kind of sad that we're still locked down here, so it's like, couldn't really... Quite often I like to go out drinking like on the 24th of December or something like that for a big night, but yeah, I'm not really able to do anything this year, unfortunately. So just a few whiskies in and around the house. Whiskeying doesn't really go with this hobby though, right? Like if you're talking about like having a steady hand for painting, you don't really want to be drinking too much whiskey, I guess. Can't really hear it. A little quiet. Oh right, okay. Let me turn the music up a little bit then. Crychick says he was flicking back and forth. Watching Tabletop Titan's video on terrain, it's the best video I've seen on the subject. I'll need to check that out. I feel like we always have a decent amount of terrain. Maybe that map there was quite light, but like, I guess my friends, like a lot of them, like, they all hate being in close combat with the Blood Angels, so they're not gonna... Typically the map is never set up that easily for me, but I mean I kind of like it that way. Like if it was all set up easily and I could just jump from terrain to terrain, I know that if I get in close combat with them, then the game's almost like mine, right? Like that's the way Blood Angels operate. So I don't know. I mean, I don't like when we play. We never put maybe one or two objectives might have obscuring terrain around them, but like not every object. I think the one on Vanguard Tactics was a 6 objective map, right? And all 6 had obscuring terrain on it. I'll watch the video, but I mean that just seems mad to me. I mean, like if you go to a tournament, surely they're not setting up the battlefields like that, and if they are, then I'd be questioning why, because that just, you know, in some ways that seems overpowered for our army. Like, getting across the battlefield tactically and taking minimal losses is the strategy, not just jumping from terrain to terrain, I guess. I mean, if you can do it, great, but it seems a bit weird to me. In your expert opinion, do you think Eliminators in my Blood Angels army are really worth having? No. Eliminators, in my opinion, don't perform. They're too expensive. Like, for Eliminators to be effective, you probably need at least 2 squads of 3, and even then, like, what are you doing? You're maybe popping a few wounds off a character here or there. You can do a lot more with 200 points for a Blood Angels. I have Eliminators and they sit in the cupboard, and I mean, I tried them maybe in 1 or 2 battle lists, but no, I don't think they're that good. Ask yourself if having the best AT unit in the game in your army would be beneficial. That'll tell you. Eliminators, Eradicators, you have to watch out for the alienation. The Sniper Boys. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I'm sold on Eliminators with a las fusel, but I haven't played it on the tabletop. Yeah, I mean, Eliminators with a las gun, basically it's a reduced range las cannon, might be okay. A model cannot claim 2 objectives, but a unit can. Okay, so that's good to know. Is there a Pulsar Executioner worth buying? Do you know what? I need to do a dedicated video on the Executioner, but I believe the Executioner was included in last week's, or in 2 weeks ago's video with the Eradicators. Like, we did some math hammer on the Executioner, and it didn't, it really didn't perform as well as you might think it would do, especially for like a 350 plus point tank. Go find the video in the tactics playlist. It's going to be really near the top, called Eradicators or something, and the Executioner is in there, and yeah, it didn't perform nearly as well as I would hope. I mean, generally it's just a bit average, you know, no invulnerable save. I don't like spending like 300 plus points on a model that has no invulnerable save. Like, you just open yourself up to, especially in the current meta has become so melta heavy. I think some of you guys were in the live chat last night when the battle report went up, and like Andrew, who's a good friend of mine who plays many different armies actually, basically every list he runs has like, I think we were joking about it, like 20 multi-meltas. It doesn't matter what faction he is, he's got 20 multi-meltas, so if you've spent 350 points on a Repulsor Executioner, you can just almost expect it to be deleted in one turn. I mean, his Iron Hands list actually deleted the super heavy tank in one turn, and that's got more toughness and like 12 more wounds, and he killed it in the first turn. Hi dude, I'm going to get in a Indomitus starter box. And Indomitus is great, Lex. It definitely lets you start, and yeah, I mean, I did that stream a few weeks ago on Indomitus and how you can bring it up into a pretty competitive army fairly quickly. So it's a cool list. Sorry, it's a cool box to get started with, the Indomitus box. Let me try and catch up on some of this chat. Thanks, mate. I play a friend who plays Necrons. He usually fields 3 Doomsday Arcs, sat at the back of the map, just wiping out units each turn. What would be a good counter? Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I do not know the range of the Doomsday Arcs, but I mean, that's one of the reasons that I like to take some fire support as a Blood Angels player, right? Like, sometimes when I play that, my friend Andrew there, he takes those Sisters of Battle tanks. Oh, I forget what those tanks are called, but they've got the missile launcher on them, and it's like heavy 3d3, and each one is basically a missile or a crack missile, so you can fire 9 crack missiles a turn, and you'll take like 2 of those tanks. So I like having something that can return fire. I mean, the list that I ran just last week, the non-super heavy tank list, had like a couple of bikes with multi-meltas. It had a Redemptor Dreadnought, it had a Leviathan Dreadnought with the Gravflux cannon, and it had 4 Eradicators. So, you know, I mean, I guess if he has some sort of heavy Doomsday Arc thing shooting at you every turn, then yeah, you do need to hug the cover, and you need to use it wisely. I need to wrap units as well, so you can't fall back and then shoot you with those things. But I mean, like, ideally, you probably want something that can return fire. And the reason that I took the multi-melta bikes was because the plan was to bring them in with the Redemptor Dreadnought, have the Redemptor Dreadnought cast Wisdom of the Ancient to let reroll 1s, and then pop some things with multi-meltas. And those bikes are pretty cheap in terms of CP, so you can strategically reserve them pretty good. This is a model, not a unit, can claim 2 objectives. Alright, so I guess you could get 2 objectives. And Ian says he started drinking, so that's always fun, you know. The Deathwatch kill teams allow for 5 kinds of silly light troop choices: squads of 5 Outriders or a group of 5 Eliminators of troop choices. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really read the kill team rules recently, but they are. Sorry to anyone in the chat, the discussion with Highland was not about unit claiming 2 objectives once, not claiming one, then moving on to claim another, but page of the rulebook doesn't answer it. Then I'll need to watch the battle report and see exactly what was happening. What was happening then, guys? He had a group of Incursors that were basically spread. I think it was 5 Incursors, spread across, and they had 1 model and 2 different objectives. What about Eliminators and the Sergeant having Quake Bolts? I feel like if you want to put Quake Bolts onto a Sergeant, I feel like there's better options than Eliminators. You know, like, one of the options that's going to be available very soon is going to be Heavy Intercessors with those 42-inch bolt rifles. And Heavy Intercessors, obviously, objective secured, they count as a troop choice. They're probably able to do just as much damage as Eliminators, only difference is they won't have the ability to do Lookout Sir. But I just, you know, like, realistically, Eliminators are going to get, like, what, 3 shots per turn? And you're probably going to get to, like, well, you hit on 3s, right? So you're going to hit with 2 shots, and, like, I think their guns are just 1 damage with, like, 6s doing mortal wounds, so I don't know. I tried Eliminators and I was really unimpressed with them. But I mean, if there's something you really want to run, don't let me stop you running them. Just, and I mean, you certainly could use Quake Bolts if you need to stop some sort of Overwatch. I mean, my big question is like, how many armies still Overwatch effectively in 9th edition without paying CP, right? Because the army that Overwatch most effectively against me typically are Iron Hands, and I feel like there's ways around it, right? Like, for example, I was going to charge a Librarian Dreadnought, so I just charge them with some unit that I'm less worried about first. So if he wants to Overwatch, he has to waste all the Overwatch and stuff on the less powerful unit. I mean, I don't know. I generally just don't think Eliminators are worth taking. And Eradicators are troop choices for Deathwatch, that's fun. Damn swear I've more rules wrong since 8th edition than 3rd combined. I feel like a novice trying to get my head around the rules in 9th edition. The book is so badly written. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that they'd just hurry up and alphabeticalize a lot of the stuff or have a good index. 9th edition, like I said, I've probably played 50 games and I still make mistakes, so 9th edition is just a bit different. Sean says, Slaint John, just poured myself a singleton. Good day from Scotch here in Delaware. Hope you have a good Christmas. Yeah, I mean, I did have a good Christmas. Kind of flew past, I guess, and didn't get enough painted that I wanted to get painted, but that seems to be always the way with me. I'm just so slow at painting. Eradicators and Hellblaster get targeted right away, just like a tank. Thanks for reminding me, I just got off work, so it's beer. Nice, nice. Ryan says, hey John and company, hope you all had a nice Xmas. Any thoughts on Shield of Sanguinius on our Sanguinary Guard? They will be 18-inch. Is be enough to cast it on nearby terrain, or do you need a jump librarian? I mean, Shield of Sanguinius on the Sanguinary Guard is generally fine, I guess. I mean, are you typically getting hit with a lot of stuff that's more than -3 on the Sanguinary Guard, I guess, because otherwise maybe there's better options for it, and I don't know, I tend to use Shield of Sanguinius either on the Librarian Dreadnought himself, or yeah, I mean, if you're not confident the Sanguinary Guard can kill what they need to kill, then sure. I mean, Unleash Rage seems like a better option for the Sanguinary Guard to give them exploding 6s, but then saying that, Sanguinary Guard do tend to overkill anything they run into, so yeah, maybe Shield is okay. I mean, I don't run a jump librarian. I run with a Librarian Dreadnought and give him Wings of Sanguinius, so he can jump if I need him to, but I mean, I've been running him with Quickening. I haven't been running oh, do you know what? Tell a lie. I ran him as Chief Librarian a couple of times and gave him both Quickening and Shield, so I mean, you could do that. Eliminators are Ballistic Skill 2+, Strength 5, -2 AP, 2 damage with 6 mortal wounds. Yeah, but I mean, are Eliminators 2+? Really? Surely not. I thought they were 3+. I thought it was 3+, but the Sergeant could give one of them a 2+. Or something like that. It's been a while since I ran them. Eliminators. Oh, did they change them to 2+? Okay. I thought maybe it was 8th edition they were 3+ in the Sergeant. Interesting. And the Mortis round, I guess you're talking about ignores Lookout Sir. Well, yeah, I mean, I still think you need to run 6 of them, though, because 3 of them aren't going to kill any sort of decently armored character, right? You're going to do half. You're going to leave them in half health or something like that. So, I mean, they don't tend to synergize super well with Blood Angels either, right? Like, but I mean, guess if they're BS2 plus, I mean that makes it a little bit more interesting to me. I mean, and are they still 90 points? Eliminators hits on 2s. Yeah, and I mean, I guess they have a 1+. I mean, the problem I had with Eliminators is when I ran them, I just had them shoot every turn, and at the end of the game, they barely killed anything. I only ran a squad of 3 of them, and I ended up having to charge into close combat with something. Like, I took them down from the building they were on and charged, because I was just like, right, these guys are just doing very little with their guns. And I think there was an objective I needed to hold on to, so... Wait, Elder Blog, again with the super chat. Thank you, Kevin. Happy New Year, brother. Let's make 2021 the year of Sanguinius. I mean, I guess that's the plan. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. That's very kind of you. I'm basically going to spend it on more Warhammer, even though I have a ridiculous backlog. It just always grows, you know? So thank you very much for that. Quick bolts give you +1 to hit in melee. Suppressors are the ones for Overwatch. Yeah, and suppressors don't have bolt guns, so they can't... I had this chat with Evan, so if you take suppressors to deny the Overwatch, you cannot give suppressors the ability to do quake bolts because they don't have a bolt rifle, they have an autocannon, which... That would have been a cool combo if you could have done it, but I guess not. I really like this white from Vallejo. I don't know if you guys use it. I think it's way better than the Citadel white. Plus it comes in this really nice dropper bottle. I mean, you still need like multiple coats of it to bring it up, but like I feel like with the Citadel white you need about 10 coats. It's ridiculous. It just doesn't feel like it gives a very good coverage either. I mean, that's one coat over the gold, and it's like, it's pretty close. I mean, it's definitely going to need a second coat, but I mean, like, if you were in a rush, you could probably get by with one coat. It was cheap as anything as well. I got it on Amazon for like $1.99 a bottle or something, so it's like half the price of the Citadel paints as well. Do you know, I mean, I guess the 1+ save and cover is nice, but do they really take that much fire? Like, I don't know, maybe I just had a poor, you know, like, I guess, here's the thing, if you only run a unit one time and you roll poorly the whole game, then maybe you just think the unit's actually a lot worse than it is, and, I mean, maybe the one time I ran Eliminators, I just rolled poorly the whole game, and, like I said, I felt like they did very little, like, they barely killed anything. And I ended up charging with them later in like turn 4 or 5, like taking them off the building and charging because it was like these guys are doing nothing up in that building. But I mean, maybe I was still firing them on BS3. I mean, I didn't. It was right at the beginning of 9th edition I used them, or maybe I actually used them at the end of 8th edition. I mean, maybe I haven't used them in 9th, but yeah, I didn't think they synergized maybe with our army all that well. Alright, Adam's going back to painting. That's cool. I mean, that's the plan here, always painting. I'm just annoyed that we can't get any games in at the moment, because I literally just got all that stuff, like, had to buy a bunch of stuff to basically be able to live stream the games, so we just bought all that stuff. We just got it all set up so we can live stream, and then it's like, oh, by the way, the whole country's going back into lockdown. I'm like, are you shitting me? But I mean, I feel like there's improvements we can definitely make to the live stream setup. We had some good comments on that, and yeah, we're gonna get to a point where we have a live game every week. That is the goal, and hopefully we'll be able to maybe set it up at the same time every week so people know when it is and they can tune in. And I mean, because I only play Blood Angels, then at least you'll know it's Blood Angels every week. I used to actually have more armies, but I actually traded them all for more Space Marine stuff, just because, like, I'm never going to finish my backlog of Space Marine stuff, so I was like, why on earth am I even trying to do more armies? New Super Heavy. Yes, I did buy the new Super Heavy. I've ordered it. I think I ordered it like 2 days ago. It's not been dispatched yet, but yeah, I don't know if it was stupid to buy another Super Heavy tank. I mean, in some ways they're generally quite fun, and you know, someone in the chat 5 minutes ago was saying that they were getting shot by Necrons right across the board for the entire game. Well, like, I don't have to deal with that, right? Because I have a Super Heavy tank it's basically both Super Heavy tanks that I have are going to have a Strength 14 weapon with -5 AP, flat 6 damage, and because the Super Heavy tanks are affected by Doctrines, it means in turn 1 it's -6. So unless they have an invulnerable save, they ain't saving, and it's a flat 6 damage. You know, like 1 or 2 saves pretty much kill a vehicle, or like, you know, 1 or 2 failed saves is 12 wounds, and then, I mean, that's not the only weapons the Super Heavy tanks have, right? They usually have some las cannons on them. This one that I've just ordered has 2 las cannons. So I guess if your main cannon has the potential to do 24 wounds, and then you've got 2 more las cannons, and then you've got a heavy bolter on there as well. So there's definitely the potential to just kill just about any armor. And you know, I've actually got to a point now with the Super Heavies where I've been running them so much that, like, I don't split the fire. I just throw everything at the same target. Like, because far too many times I would, like, try and split the fire up and end up, like, leaving both enemies on, like, really low wounds. So I just play the percentage game now and just be like, right, just everything goes into one target, and every turn my Super Heavy tank will delete something from the board. We actually did a test against the Leviathan Dreadnought from Iron Hands, and while it didn't kill a Leviathan Dreadnought in one turn, it did put it down to 2 wounds. And I mean, you have to remember that Iron Hands have Duty Eternal, so it's -1 to all the damage, and then Iron Hands also have a 6+ Feel No Pain. So against any other Space Marine faction / that would have instantly, in one turn, he just kills a Leviathan Dreadnought from full health. Yeah, so, I mean, you know, like, if the enemy don't deal with that, you're basically deleting 250 points of models from the table every turn. That fairly stacks up over, you know, like, over 5 turns, that's 1250 points. It's like that tank alone has killed 5/8 of the enemy army. It's pretty crazy. Does Mephiston has a +2 for Deny the Witch? No, I think he has +1 for Deny the Witch. He just has a regular Psychic Hood Mephiston, as far as I'm aware. Mentions white painting is the worst. I did like 14 coats of Citadel on my Sanguinary Priest. Yeah, white painting is the worst. If you've never tried this white, find it on Amazon. It's just Vallejo acrylic white. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I don't know why I bought it. I think I just got frustrated with the Citadel one and, like, looked at some forums, and I probably have like 4 or 5 pots of the Citadel ones. I may as well just throw them in the bin, because this one white as well has lasted, like, it feels like it's like half full because it's a dropper bottle, and I've had it like a year more probably. Like, so for $1.99, yeah, I'd highly recommend it. For Citadel, Corex white has amazing coverage, then put a bright white over the top. Really? I'm sure it was Corex white I was using that I wasn't pleased about, but maybe the paint was old, and maybe, I suppose you can occasionally get a bad batch, but yeah, I'm sure it was Corex white, because it used to be called Skull white. Maybe they've made improvements since I bought my Corex white. Try a coat of grey first, then white if struggling to get the white looking good. Yeah, I mean, usually I would put coats of lighter colours over, but this white feels good enough where, like, I think you can just do 2 coats of it and you'll be done. maybe 3 if it goes on a little bit streaky, but overall I've used this now on a Sanguinary Priest, and I think I used it on the last batch of Sanguinary Guard I did, and yeah, I was generally very happy with it. Looking forward to BA Commander branded fingerless gloves merch in 2021. Yeah, I mean, we are actually working toward, maybe we'll have merch next year. We're working towards having the channel membership in the next few weeks, and then after that, yeah, maybe the thing that makes most sense is to have some merch. I would like to do merchandise. I wanted to double check, I haven't managed to speak to Games Workshop about the channel, but I did ping them an email because I wanted to check that they didn't have a problem with the logo or the name, because I guess they obviously probably own the copyright on Blood Angels, but looking into it, I think they just own the copyright on Adeptus Astartes, and I think Blood Angels is fine, and technically the channel name doesn't contain BA, it just does. Sorry, it doesn't contain Blood Angels, it's just BA Commander. So I think it would be fine, but I didn't want to start selling merch until at least I spoke to them. So I have emailed them, working on that. I mean, if worst case we need to change the channel name a little bit. I mean, BA Commander could easily become Badass Commander or something. But we just keep the same logo or something, I think super heavy tanks are nice for YouTube games because it's not what you see every day, so enjoy watching you play them. Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking the opposite, Eldar, in that I actually thought more people watching on YouTube would want to see everyday models. So in the next list I was gonna maybe get rid of the super heavy tank and replace it with a Leviathan Dreadnought, maybe a Eradicator Squad, and things that people would commonly see or commonly own, I guess. But at the same time, I've told my friends to try and build lists that will beat that super heavy tank list, and it just keeps winning. And I was actually kind of surprised it won against Iron Hands after I lost it in the first turn before it even fired. But I mean, I guess he just had to get so out of position to kill it that it made really easy to get into melee combat with a load of his Iron Hand stuff, and they just capitulated because of that. But yeah, I mean, I will do battles without the super heavy tank. I don't feel like I need to rely on it. I think the problem was I've had that tank 2 or 3 years, and it's been painted 2 or 3 years, and before 9th edition it'd been played on the battlefield once because it was just too expensive point wise to run. So I was just super excited. I was like, oh my god, I can finally paint, or sorry, I can finally play with the guy that I've spent all this time. It was kind of a project of passion, that tank, to have a really nice centerpiece for the army, and then it sat in a shoebox for 2 or 3 years. Mark says, oh, what super heavy tank did you buy? I was thinking about getting one. Mark, I bought the Cerberus, and I really thought do you know what? I think I had a picture of its stats, but I think I may have. Oh no, I've got it. Yeah, so this is the one that I bought to replace. Well, I mean, it's not to replace. I'm still going to field the other one occasionally, I suppose. I'm actually probably going to keep fielding the other one till that list loses. But at the same time, even when I'm winning games, I guess I'm trying to look at the list and trying to see the weaknesses, and I do think that the other super heavy tank is just a little bit too much, all eggs in one basket. So this one is like you've got the falchion there. So I run the falchion with one additional heavy bolter. So you can see it there at 615 points, which is quite a lot of points. Like if it does die, you are down a huge amount of points, right? And like when I lost it in turn 1 before it fired against the Iron Hands, like there was a moment of like, oh shit, this is going to be a very, very difficult game to win. But I mean, we did win. Just I think it was like 2 victory points. But I think the Cerberus is interesting to me because if we take the Cerberus with 2 las cannons and a heavy bolter, we're 455 points. So we're literally 160 points less, which is the cost of 4 eradicators, if you think of it that way. You still have like a very, very strong primary gun, right? Like heavy 4, so it can also be shot in close combat if the enemy get in with you. Strength 14, so you're wounding toughness 7 on 2s. I guess it's -4. Sorry, I thought it was -5. It's -4, so -5 with Devastator Doctrine. And if it remains stationary, which I think it can remain stationary, like 48 inches, you can probably position it pretty tactically so it can at least remain stationary like 2 or 3 rounds a game. And if it remains stationary, the flat 6 damage is just great. I mean, otherwise it's like going to be 4 damage, which is still very decent, right? Especially in the land of everybody's running Duty Eternal Dreadnoughts now. I think this will be very decent, and it still has 2 las cannons. It still has those crushing attacks, and it does get shock assault. So I mean, when you get charged or you are charged, then it's 7 attacks hitting on 5, strength 8. So if you get charged or you do a charge, you're always, on average, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 hits. So 2 or 3 strength 8 hits with -2 D3 damage. So I mean, you can still do okay in combat, and yeah, I mean, I think that I just like the idea of having slightly less eggs in one basket with this tank, and that way, yeah, I mean, I'm either going to run 4 eradicators or I'll run Blade Guard veterans to secure the midfield. And I mean, my list is already very strong, I feel like, in close combat. So I think if we added something like Blade Guards, I just think it would generally be, it would be a very, I think it would be stronger than the list I'm running right now, even though we have to give up, like, I think we give up 2 heavy bolters and 6 las cannons. But, you know, if it dies, then it's not as big a concern. I mean, it's still going to be a bullet magnet, it's still going to draw a ton of fire from the enemy, which is the whole reason for running it, right? So, like, you run that so that your melee units can get around the map, and, you know, the enemy has to deal with this thing. And I think the enemy still has to deal with this thing, but at the same time, it's not quite as devastating if it dies. And, I mean, that's just my opinion. Johnny says, love the channel and the Facebook group. Used to play Blood Angels in 2nd Ed and recently have been called back to the Emperor's service. This time we'll be sporting a saw blade to go with that blood drop. Welcome back, Johnny. It's nice to have you. I actually started playing in 2nd edition as well, and someone asked me once, why did you start, why is Blood Angels your army? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you remember back in 2nd edition, but in 2nd edition the starter set was like 20 Space Marines, and the start painting guide was Blood Angels, and I literally think it was just that I picked up that start painting guide, and the rest is history, you know. So welcome back, Johnny, nice to have you. Thanks for your kind comments about the channel. Problem with Doomsday Arc, unless the rules have changed, is they're 3+, a 5++, and will only be wounded on 4s. Yeah, some of those Necron vehicles with their, I can't remember what it is. They're like, it's the weird shielding that they have. It's basically like a transhuman on their vehicles, right? And yeah, it can be real problematic. Their transports have that as well. And when I'm playing against the Necrons, he has everything that's objective secured. So you have like a 16 wound transport just sitting on an objective, and it's obsecking it away from you, and you can only wound it on 4+. It can be real nasty. I've had some bad experiences playing Necrons because of that. So at range, possibly strength 6 and strength 7 with tons of shots might be the best way to go. Twin assault cannon, razorback, whirlwind, autocannon suppressors. That's why my sanguinary guard have red wings and the black on the top part. Yeah, I mean, I've done some of my characters like that. Like some of the, I think Astaroth maybe has red wings, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I started doing the sanguinary guard this way, so I guess we kind of have to finish them. But do you know what? This white actually isn't so bad. If you're having problems with the Citadel white, then I guess just I recommend getting this white. It's really not that bad at all, I feel like. Currently painting 2 apothecaries. I'll take you up on that white tip. White scars is very low coverage. Yeah, I mean, definitely look this paint up. It was like, I was really impressed, and like I said, in the UK anyway, it was just $1.99 a bottle. So I think Citadel paints at the moment are probably creeping towards £3. So I mean, it's almost half the price. And yeah, I mean, this bottle has lasted me ages, absolutely ages. I guess just because it's a dropper bottle, the paint doesn't dry up as much as like the Citadel paints when you open and close the bottles. I know that some people really, really, really hate the Citadel paint bottles. I don't have a problem with them, but like, I can see why people prefer the dropper bottles. I guess your paint just lasts that bit longer. The name of the channel name on YouTube is Blood Angels Commander. Yeah, I mean, I guess the name on the YouTube channel is 100% Blood Angels Commander, and I would like to keep it as that, but I mean, that's kind of why I've emailed Games Workshop. I've emailed them twice. Like, I guess they just want them to say, like, we're not going to sue you, or we don't have a problem with the name, so I'm trying to speak to somebody there. I kind of made the channel without even thinking about that, right? Like, and also when I made the channel, I had no idea if it would go anywhere, or, and it was just like, I just want the channel name to be to the point. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just doing Blood Angel stuff. Like, so hopefully we can keep it, and if we can, I mean, as I say, the logo doesn't actually say Blood Angels on it, right? It just says BA Commander. So we may just end up. The channel may end up just being called BA Commander, and the merchandise may just have that on it as well. But yeah, I just don't really want to get into hot water with Games Workshop, if that makes sense. I'd rather that they just knew what I was doing. I believe they definitely speak to content creators on YouTube once you get to 10,000 subscribers, because someone who has over 10,000 told me that that's when they spoke to him. So I'm hoping that they'll speak to me long before I get to 10,000. But I guess maybe it just depends on, you know, who in the department sees my email, or. But I mean, I feel like if they saw the email, I'm pretty sure in the email I said that I was like well on the way to like 3,000 subscribers. So if they've seen the. Maybe I'll just give it like another month, and if they don't reply, then at least I've sort of done my due diligence. I've emailed them, I've told them what I'm doing, and if they didn't interject then maybe they're just not going to, and we'll sell like the T-shirt that I have that's Blood Angels Commander, because it's a pretty cool T-shirt. And I mean, do you know what? The Games Workshop just actually released a really cool Dante T-shirt like just a few weeks ago. I think I was wearing it in one of my videos. I'm definitely wearing it in this Friday's Tactics video as well that's coming out about troops. So, yeah, I mean, maybe Games Workshop are stepping up their game a bit as well over the last little while. Big tanks are great to see. One day I'll own one when the divorce papers come through. Variety is good to see in a battle rep. Yeah, I mean, I almost think the big tanks are like a project you can just save up for and buy it for yourself, because they do take a long time to make and build and paint. Are you going to try and hunt down the good Blood Angels Land Raider doors for the Cerberus, if it takes them? Is the Cerberus using the Land Raider hull, is it? I didn't actually realise that. I do have a friend with a 3D printer, but like the stuff that they print, it's fine, but like I'm a bit picky. Like like I don't think I would put 3D printed parts onto like a 108, 115 pound tank or something like that. I would rather, I do have the Forge World decals, like the really expensive ones. And I think Forge World actually sell gold decals as well. So I mean, maybe I'd be more likely to buy those than, because I think the custom doors are maybe, like, if they're out of print, then the chances of me finding them are like slim to none, I guess. Pretty sure Chapter Master Valor has Imperial Fist stuff. Well, that's interesting to know. I need to check Valoric and see what he's actually got in his channel. But yeah, I mean, I think the name is fine. I think if it wasn't fine, I would have had like a letter. Or, like, I emailed them just before Christmas, and I guess because of this pandemic, I probably just want to give them like another month. If they don't come back to me or have any problem with the name, then we'll see about getting merchandise rolled out. Apparently I'm getting white paint on these gloves. I don't often paint in the gloves. It is cold in here though tonight. Okay. I started gaming in 3rd edition and started modelling painting in 2nd when I was drawn to Blood Angels through the White Dwarfs and models in my shop window, and I still use the 2nd edition red ink and marines. I have some of those old, what were they, like hexagon shaped pots? I'm pretty sure all the paint inside all of them will be rock hard, but I do remember some of the old paint names. It was a little bit sad when they changed them all. The hull is a Heresy unique, but I think it keeps the doors the generic Land Raider size. Okay. Well, maybe need to search for some sort of Blood Angels Land Raider doors. Maybe that's a thing. I was actually considering getting a 2nd Leviathan Dreadnought as well, you know that, because they're just generally, like, as I say, they're the most Blood Angels Land Raider doors. Let's see. I see a couple of places, but they say out of stock. I mean, they're pretty cool. I mean, these look... Yeah, these look like... I think Blood Angels Land Raider doors must have been Forge World ones. Do you know what? Maybe I could search eBay. Sometimes you find good stuff on eBay. I bought some custom heads. Oh look, there is one on eBay, but like you'd have to pay through the nose for it. Is this what you were talking about? It's coming from... Where does eBay tell you where it's coming from? It's coming from New York. I mean, they are pretty cool. I think the door you wouldn't actually be able to use though, right? Because I think that the Cerberus... I think on the Cerberus, like, you don't... Yeah, I mean, the door wouldn't be there. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I mean, I get... Yeah, okay, you're right, you're right. So at the back here, behind the gun, you would... That would... Those would fit, would they? They've got like 3 bits on the top and bottom. Do you know what? That looks a little bit more square than this looks, actually. This looks a bit rectangular and that looks quite square. So I'm not actually sure if they would fit. I mean, you could always buy them and then... That's fine, you can work on whatever you want during my stream. This is the first stream... Oh, sugar, I've left the camera on. This is the first stream ever that I've actually painted on. Because like I said, normally when I paint I use a magnifying glass because my eyesight is poor. And also the magnifying glass is one from eBay, not eBay, Amazon, that has an additional light built into it. And like, see, without that, like, I find painting so difficult. Like, I don't know if you can see it, maybe just in the corner of my camera here, but like, I have a massive spotlight here. It's like a soft light I use for filming all the YouTube videos. Like, you see it on the side of my face. See how bright that light is? And like I'm looking at these models and I'm like, there isn't enough light. So like, I must just have spoiled myself painting with like one of those spotlights from Amazon, where it's like it's basically a magnifying ring. So like, you know what an old person would use to like read the newspaper or something, but within the ring is actually like a really bright LED that plugs in via USB. And I think I bought it from Amazon from like $20, and honestly it's made me such a better painter. But I mean, the reason it's made me better is just because like I can see better. But then saying that, like, a bunch of you guys have been posting pictures into the Facebook group, and you guys are killing it at, in terms of like how good your painting and stuff is. Like, I've been working on these infiltrators now behind me for like a month, maybe a month and a half, and like they're so close to being finished. Couple more days, and I mean, I'll put a photo up in the Facebook group when they're finished, but like, honestly, I think there's enough people in the group that are definitely better at painting than I am. But I mean, I guess the magnifying glass lets me be precise, although slow. See, like, I find that blue there, like it just feels like there's not enough light in this room for that. Mark says I started in first edition, the book that once you opened it all the pages fill out. Yeah, I remember some of those old books. Played second and third as guard, but sold that army for diapers for my son. Picked up the Space Marine in 5th edition. Didn't like 6th and 7th, but came back in 8th and started a Blood Angels army. That's funny that you sold it for your son. I was actually thinking back, and like, I was at university and I almost sold all my Blood Angels at one point. Just, you know, like, needs must, I guess, and if you need money, you need money. There's no two ways about it. And yeah, I'm really glad now that I didn't, you know. But I mean, at one point, when I was at university and like times were tough, it was definitely on the table, you know. I think I ended up getting I was fortunate and got like a job I could work while I was at university, and that sort of saved me from having to sell all my personal belongings. Krychek says just as well because I'm building an Elder list. That's fair enough. I had a great battle against Elder on the channel like a month ago. It was really fun. I actually kind of want a rematch against the Elder player. We were gonna have rematches over these damn Christmas holidays. Like, it's the most time I have off work the whole year, basically. But like, far too many people in the UK are just not. They're not respecting the rules. They're not. You know, they're still going out. They're still doing things. So, God knows how much longer our lockdown's going to end. You know, like, they literally said, like, don't travel like more than 5 miles from your house for exercise or whatnot. And like on Facebook yesterday, like my wife showed me a picture of like people who have travelled 45 miles to go sledging because it's snowing. And I'm just like looking at it like, oh my god, no wonder we're still locked down, because far too many people are just like, well, you know, you get told you can only travel 5 miles and people are just travelling 40 miles. It's like, I'm using it, I'm trying to stay positive with it, and I'm trying to use it as a, like, if I can't play games, then maybe I can get painting, and maybe I can get caught up on a bunch of these models that have been, that need to get painted, you know? I was going to ask a few people, you know, like, so we were talking about the super heavy tank and the cheaper version a few minutes ago. I was also thinking, like, I could run a whirlwind in that list. Is anyone running whirlwinds? Like, do you actually find they're valuable? Because I ran them a couple of times in 9th edition, and I didn't have the best experience with them. I didn't think they were useless, but I generally just didn't feel like I got the best experience. And the whirlwinds were bullet magnets big time, right? Because the enemy knew that, like, the whirlwind gives me the ability to deny Overwatch. So, like I said, the whirlwind just became a bullet magnet. But I was thinking, if you still have a super heavy tank on the board and the whirlwind's the bullet magnet, then your super heavy tank is very much free to do what he wants to do, right? So, like, maybe a whirlwind with a super heavy tank might be a really interesting choice. And Seemingly Tangent says, I have some Blood Angels Forge Roll guys waiting to be painted for more third parties to come in for Kit Bash. Yeah, I'm waiting on third party stuff from Russia that I ordered from eBay way before December. Some custom heads it was, and they look really, really cool. But I guess, like, again, COVID, it just says, like, on the delivery thing, like, packages stalled in Russia. It's been in Russia since the 13th of December. So, like, at this point, I'm wondering if I'm even getting it. Probably going to have to email the guy on eBay at some point pretty soon and be like, yeah, this order is not turned up, but I guess we'll see. I don't even know what Russians do at Christmas either, like, so maybe Russia's just, like, closed for a while at Christmas, or I don't know, maybe Russia's going through COVID as well. Adam says that spare resin, the 3 prongs you've cut off, I just set on my Land Raider and need a good bit of encouragement to fit, but it does look good once done. Okay. And Reziel said it can be very hard to make progress when there's videos going as well. In fact, I just checked the forwarder page for the Cerberus confirms it uses standard Land Raider doors. Okay. I mean, I'm probably not going to buy standard Land Raider doors. I appreciate the idea, but I probably shouldn't have ordered the Cerberus already. Like, just I guess, like, I don't know if I'm going to have any money left on Payday as it is, so I just kind of, I've just been wanting that Cerberus for too long, so I just finally bit the bullet and ordered it. But yeah, I probably shouldn't spend anything else till I get to Payday and see where things are at. But you know what, like, I'm not going to be ready to paint the Cerberus as soon as I get it anyway, because basically where I am is, I need 2 or 3 more days to finish those infiltrators. Then I want to paint 10 Vanguard veterans because they've been left in an unpainted state for far too long. Then I'm going to finish my Librarian Dread. Then I'm going to finish the Chapter Master on a bike, the one that I posted up earlier that wasn't finished. And then I'm going to finish these 7 Sanguinary Guard that we have here. So I mean, that's like, and then maybe I'll paint the Cerberus or at some point in there. But so probably just doing these guys, that's like 2 or 3 months work for me at least. Like, it'll be the end of February before I would think. As I say, I'm fairly slow at painting. I mean, like, well, you see in the stream, like, we've been painting for like an hour and a half. What have I painted? Some wings and like some axe sword blades. That's it in an hour and a half. I am fairly slow. But yeah, like, someone mentioned it there as well. Yeah, like, I spend a lot of time making YouTube videos as well, so kind of eats into the into the potential painting time too. Going to go back and watch the recent bat rep later tonight. Finish the Vanguard Tactics one with the Custodes, no spoilers, but I recommend it as well. Yeah, I'll definitely try and watch that battle rep actually. I might have some time tomorrow. I have the finishing touches to put on Friday's tactics video tomorrow, and then I have another video I'm working on as well, so we'll see. Ian says he started first in the late 80s. A bunch of you guys started before me. Rogue Traders in my bedroom and in good condition. Left the hobby before second and returned 2 years ago. Do you know what? I have second edition in very good condition, and I have the second edition expansions, the Dark Millennium. I was actually thinking what might be super fun one time would be to try and play a game of second edition on the live table once we get going. I mean, like, the rules would be so whack and stuff, but it might be fun. I'm going to run it as soon as I can. If I can hide it in great and get shots for 125 points, they're wasting shots on the Whirlwind. Yeah, I mean, the Whirlwind is interesting to me. Funny, I'm waiting on custom shields for my Vanguard vets from Russia. What? So I bought custom shields for my Vanguard vets, and I also bought custom shields for... let me see if there's one left or have I used them all. May have used them all. This box is a bit of a mess. Yeah, maybe I've used them all, but I'll show you. Next time I do a hobby stream, if I can get one more done before the end of before I have to go back to work, I'll show you some of the custom shields I bought. They're basically, do you know what? I think I just saw them when I was on eBay like a minute ago. Was it probably in like my purchase history? Purchase history. I think I showed some of you guys this before, but someone's basically made like these are like Blade Guard veteran shields, right? So yeah, someone's made like Blade Guard veteran shields. I guess they're 3D printed. I bought a set of these. They were like $8. The backs of them were quite brittle. Like these bits were quite brittle, so a couple of them broke. But I mean, the front of them looks pretty cool. Once I actually have a finished model with one of them, because all I've done so far with them is sprayed them. I'll show you them. Highland says one whirlwind for the strat alone. That's it really, but I could shift annoying troops off backfield objectives too. Yeah. The whirlwind is interesting. Like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but I mean, against some key things it could. Against some key things it could prevent Overwatch. Hey Gitley, how you doing? I don't know if that's sarcastic or not. I wouldn't be upset if it was sarcastic. I was looking for some paints. I wasn't prepared. But yeah, like I'm just putting, like, these guys are just getting some base colors on them tonight, and I actually need to head off pretty soon. So I just thought I'd put a little bit of base colors on these 4 new Sangre Guard that I made, so that like they don't look quite so terrible when they're fielded on the battlefield. And yeah, like I said, I'm not actually going to paint these guys next. I'm going to go and paint a 10-man squad of Vanguard veterans. But I just think if you have the wings done on the Sangre Guard, if you're looking at them on the battle report screen from a fair distance, then you'll at least know they're Sangre Guard, whereas like the Vanguard veterans need they need work first, or they need loving first, I guess. So we'll just. Wait, Highland Phoenix, super chat, $14.99. Cerberus doors are a third bottle of whiskey. Happy holidays and happy New Year. Wow, thank you very much. You really want me to buy those Cerberus doors, huh? How much were they? Because was it an auction or was it a bid or what? Let me see. Land Raider doors. Blood Angels. Alright, well it's $15.50 at the moment in US dollars. I'll put a bid in. How about that? And if we win them, we win them. And if we don't, I guess we don't. But yeah, I'll put a bid in then. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. If you know somewhere actually where I can get them for cheaper than this, then hit me up with a link and I'll get them there. Maybe there's like a, like maybe there's another shop from Russia or something that actually sells those Land Raider doors. That would be cool. It was just because of the quality street tin. Oh right, I'm with you. Yeah, your Christmas chocolate tins. Look at all the paint on the top of this. These are what Christmas chocolate tins are actually made for. They're not made for Christmas chocolates. You just open them, throw all the chocolates straight the hell in the bin because you don't want them anyway because you've overeaten at Christmas, and then and then what you do is you fill it up with random Warhammer shit. If you're doing anything else, then you're doing it wrong. I play Death Guard and Nids a lot. Both have indirect fire and it's strategically good. Opponents always frustrated when the damage isn't happening. Yeah, I mean, like, typically when I would play a Whirlwind... So I played a Whirlwind in 8th edition. I played it quite a lot. I'm trying to remember why I played it so much. I think it was just because of the indirect fire, and I would use it against... I'd use it to try and clear, like... like in 8th edition, people played with like a lot of scouts, or a lot of Marine players used a lot of scouts. So I would use the Whirlwind to try and just clear scouts to open up spaces for like deep striking in Blood Angels units. But I think at the end of 8th edition, back then the Whirlwind was like 85 points or something. Like they jumped it to like 125, and I think when they jumped it, like I instantly just dropped it. Like maybe I ran it like 1 or 2 times and just felt like for the 125 points it wasn't worth it. But I mean, sometimes that's just the thing, right? Like you have to play a lot, and you have to use similar army lists a lot. Otherwise, you just end up not really knowing the strength of things if you don't play with them a lot. Don't do it. I have some you can have. If you don't mind waiting for the post, I will send you them. Yeah, I don't mind waiting for the post. That would be super sick. I can pay your postage or something. Are you in the Facebook group, Ventress? Because if you're in the Facebook group, you can DM me and I can send you over my address and stuff. That'd be awesome. I'll trade you as well if there's something Blood Angels that you need, or like I have a couple of sets of Indomitus here. So if there's something that you're needing, yeah, I'll be happy to do a trade or something for, because I think out of the Indomitus box, I'm keeping all of the Blade Guard and I'm keeping all the Eradicators, but Assault Intercessors, if you need some Assault Intercessors, I can hook you up with them, for sure, because I generally prefer the Phobos units. And do you know what? I do have a bunch of other boxes actually. Like, I think I have some Vanguard Vets. I think I maybe even some Death Company. So if there's something else that you need to want to trade for the Land Raider doors, you can totally trade. Hey Commander, what brush are you using? So these brushes are Element Games brushes, right? This one is absolutely knackered brush. This is why I'm using it for base coats, because like these Element Games character brushes are like $5, and I find that you get probably like, I'd say like 150 to 200 hours painting or more out of them. Generally for me, like, they last way longer than the Games Workshop brushes, and they're like 20-25% cheaper. I do have like a couple of really nice brushes, like Artist Opal brushes. Like, I totally recommend the Artist Opal brushes. They're the ones that are like right front and center on the Element Games website. Like, but they're like £11 a brush. But like, they are hands down the best brush that I've ever used. And I guess like if we're talking about these Element Games brushes being good for like 150 hours, 200 hours, the Artist Opal brushes are good for probably like another 100 hours on that. So 250 hours, and they like still hold the point really, really well. And I highly recommend them. They're just a bit more expensive, so I don't always buy them if I'm just... Like, I feel like these character brushes from Element Games are generally very good, and I think last time I bought them they were like $5.29 each or something. And yeah, like I said, this one is just knackered, but it's fine. I'm just doing base colors, so I don't really care. But yeah, I mean, this one is... I think this is the brush I painted. So I painted 10 Assault Intercessors with it. I painted 10 Infiltrators with it, and I think I maybe painted a Redemptor Dreadnought. So I mean, if that's 200 hours of painting to you, for me it certainly is. Like, I probably spend like 6 to 10 hours on each individual guy in a squad, because I do multiple coats, and I really end up going back and forth a lot, because like I said, I know my eyesight isn't very good. Because what's the... There's two types of issues with eyesight, right? I have the issue where like I can't see shit that's close to me. Like, if I'm out in the park, for example, for a walk or something, and I don't have my glasses, you know, I can see perfectly at long distance. My issue was like I work with computers, so I guess like I'm always looking at stuff up close, and as such my eyesight is shit up close. I mean, not the greatest for like painting Warhammer, but I mean, it is what it is. So Pin Monkey says hello. How you doing, Pin Monkey? It did used to be cheaper. I like the idea of sticking Whirlwind in the back corner behind Obscuring, where it helps stop late reserves and the opponent has to dedicate resources for going for it. Yeah, Rezio, I mean, that is a legit and valid tactic, I feel like. You know, it keeps the opponent busy, I guess, and it does prevent some reserves. The Artist Opal Zero, for me, is almost my only brush, and it was about $14 for it to be shipped. Yeah, those Artist Opal ones. I think I use the number ones. Like, I don't think I use zeros. But maybe you're probably slightly better painter than I am. Maybe so. I picked up the Ralph Kolinsky Sable Hair one for 20 Canadian dollars, which is like $10. I've heard good things about those ones, Castellan, but I've never actually owned them. But I mean, I'm always down for trying a new brush here or there. Like I tried those Artist Opal ones just last year, I guess, and yeah, I was really quite impressed with them. Long-sighted, yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. That was so. I'm long-sighted, so I can see fine at distance, but like I struggle up close. I have to shoot shortly, as I improved in your group on Facebook. I'll arrange something. I can approve you right now, and you can DM me. But yeah, I have to shoot shortly as well. But that'd be super cool if you have the Land Raider doors. Do you know what? It doesn't show you needing approved right now, so I guess that means you got automatically approved. Using the Squidmore brushes mostly at the moment. The Redgrass game ones are excellent too. Yeah, so I noticed... What the hell am I doing? I just put black paint in the middle of the base I just painted. Okay, you can tell I'm tired now. I was going to do the edge. Trying to read chat and paint at the same time is a bad recipe, I guess. Yeah, I was going to say, I just watched a video from Squidmore earlier today, right? Like, he's got his own brand of brushes now, or he did a Kickstarter or something. Like, I don't follow him too closely, but I did see some sort of video where he was like shipping a ton of different brushes, and I was like, oh, okay, he's doing brushes now. Well, that was a mistake. Monument hobby as well. And I've heard about Winsor Newton as well. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's loads of brushes, but yeah, I mean, if you're, I want to say like I'm a novice painter, like I don't know. I mean, like, you guys saw my channel trailer, right? Where like that shows the level of quality of stuff that I paint. So I mean, maybe I'm slightly above average, but I mean, I'm probably only above average because I have a microscope, or sorry, a magnifying glass, and I take a lot of time on each model, right? Like, I think, like, if I had to do speed painting, I would be terrible. Like, like, I see some of these guys that get like models tabletop ready in like 20 minutes, and I'm like, it takes me 10 hours to get a model tabletop ready. Like, we've been painting for Sangregard here for like an hour and a half, and I've done wings, a blade, and I've put a rim on the base. So yeah, I mean, that's like 20 minutes, and I've barely even got base colours down. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can take the painting as far or as little as you like it. I'm quite happy with these element brushes, and it's funny that nobody said Games Workshop brushes. So I guess that just shows that they're probably overpriced and underperform, I guess. So I'm just gonna paint these 4 rims, and then it is after midnight, so I kind of need to go. But yeah, thanks for dropping in tonight, guys, and hanging out. I appreciate it. It's been a pretty few cool weeks. Like, I think we did 3 hobby streams, and every time you guys have hung out, and every time people have been generous with super chats, which is really nice. I was going to say that, like, over the next week or so, you'll be seeing some new things on the channel. We have the new tactics video, and then I think probably I was going to say the end of the month. The end of the month is like one day away. We're going to open up memberships on the channel, which is going to be pretty cool. And I've got, let me show you these. These are pretty cool. So I commissioned, can I not zoom these in? God damn it. Let me open it with another paint program. So I commissioned little Blood Angels helmets, and we have a gold one, a blue one, a black one, a red one, and a yellow one. So these will be new custom emojis that you'll be able to put into the live chat for the channel. And that's coming fairly soon. So just got these back from the artist today, actually. I kind of like them. So they're kind of like a play on the Blood Angels Commander helmet. So that's coming very soon as well. Use brush soap on them. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend getting some brush soap if you're serious about keeping your, like, if you're going to spend £10 or more on a brush, you definitely want some brush soap. And I believe that Masters brand you mentioned is the same brand I've used before, and generally that brush soap lasts for ages. Like, I think I've been painting now about 3 years, and I'm only on my second tub of it, and it's like maybe $3 or $4. So highly recommend getting yourself some good brush soap as well. I believe if you buy the expensive Artist Opal brushes, they maybe come with their own brush soap, but like I didn't buy the Kickstarter for them. I just bought like one of their brushes to try it out, and do you know what? Generally I was very impressed with it. It was very good. Good night, Highland Phoenix. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat, man. Tony says, Games Workshop normal brushes are just cheap synthetic. They used to make some amazing sable brushes, but they were naturally massively overpriced. I didn't realise their brushes now are just synthetic. It's strange because you can get some really good synthetic brushes on Amazon, like super cheap, right? But I think these Element ones are the sable. I'm pretty sure that they are. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the UK, like I highly recommend getting it. You know, for $5 you can't really go wrong for 150 hours plus of painting. Pin Monkey says, is the Blood Angels Primaris upgrade pack a good pickup if you only have the Indomitus box? I mean, yeah, I mean, it'll give you some Blood Angels shoulder pads and stuff, but if you only have the Indomitus box, like, I would save your money and either buy a squad of Sanguinary Guard or Death Company, because both the Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company come with like custom Blood Angels heads and shoulder pads, and they come with enough that like you'd be able to make your whole Sanguinary Guard and your Death Company and probably have like 4 or 5 custom heads left over, and maybe like as many as like 6 custom shoulder pads. So, and like right when I started this channel, because the first videos I did on the YouTube page, or the first videos I did on this channel, were just kit bash videos, and in those early days of kit bashing, it always seemed to be the Death Company box that I always ended up going back to. I was like, there's just so many little nice things in that vanilla Death Company box that let you do a lot of different upgrades and stuff like that. So I mean, you could buy an upgrade sprue by all means. I mean, the upgrade sprue is going to be a lot cheaper than just buying a box of Death Company, right? But like, if you're serious about going Blood Angels, you're probably going to want some Death Company. So maybe you essentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Dino says, hey Commander, just wondering, are you using wet palette? My paints keep drying really quickly on my palette. So do you have any palettes you can recommend if you're not using wet palettes? Sorry man, I am not. I mean, it seems like a question for the Facebook group because there's a lot of really good painters in there. I do not use a wet palette. I mean, it's something that I've kind of wanted to get into, but yeah, I mean, I just use like palette paper, and I mean, I guess the paints do dry out reasonably quickly, but I just probably should invest in one at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely Redgrass Games wet palette. I appreciate you answering that question, Gitley, thank you. So I'm using a homemade wet palette. I'll post a picture of it in the group. That's cool. Yeah, I'd love to see a homemade one as well. And yeah, I mean, as I said, it's past midnight. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, guys. We are coming out on Friday with a tactics video, and we'll have some other information on the channel coming up in the next few days as well. And I was trying to work out when the lockdown is actually ending in the UK, because you know, like, as soon as the lockdown ends, I guess, we're going to get live games going every week. I see, thanks for the replies. Yeah, sorry I can't be more help. Maybe one day I will get to wet paletting, but yeah, at the moment I'm I guess just kind of busy, I guess. Between my day job and the channel, it kind of keeps me fairly busy, so I just haven't had time to investigate it. Okay, so yeah, I am going to take off for tonight, and I guess I'll see you guys on Friday with a tactics video. I'll probably see you guys before then in the Facebook group, obviously. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, thanks to the people that offered to help me out with Land Raider doors and stuff like that. It's always nice. You guys are always so friendly on the live chats. I really enjoy it. And yeah, I wish. I mean, my dream is like when I go back to my day job, I would like to do a hobby hangout every week. That's like what I would like to aim for. But I guess the question is like, can I do the live show? Can I do a live battle report? Can I do a hobby hangout? And can I do a tactics video every week? If I can, then that's the aim. But we'll see. Right, so everybody have a good night, and we'll see you on Friday for the tactics video. Hopefully you enjoy it, and see you all guys in the Facebook group very soon. And thanks again to the super chats tonight. They're always much appreciated. So good night everybody. By the blood are we made. Peace.